It's amazing when you think about the versatility of the sacred scriptures in the Bible. The quality that the Bible has is that there's a timelessness to it. And so trying to apply it to daily life is a bit of a challenge. But it talks about some of the deeper mysteries of who we are. Like Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Now, what does that mean? And we kind of get a pretty good idea, that a vine is something that kind of moves around, it grows. And then we got this thing about branches, well, it all goes all out in different directions. It spreads out, kind of like reaching to the sun. And so with that image in mind, the message is really relatively simple. We stay connected to Jesus so that he can feed us and form us. Well, there you go. The symbolism is explained. Feeding. Every living thing needs to be fed in somewhere, needs to be nourished. And also, there needs to be a forming, a maturing, a coming to fruition, so to speak. And so, that's pretty easy to understand. And then, how does that apply to us? Now, there's the challenge. How does it apply to us? This question, it's a rhetorical question, of course. Do you have people in your life who are saying to you, this is a message, okay? Are they saying this to you? Maybe not in these words, but in some way, shape, or form, they may be saying this to you. I love you because you exist. Not because of what you've done or haven't done, not because you are a winner or a loser. Now that's what we call unconditional love. So much in the world is conditional. So much is contract and agreement. You write out a contract. You got to be faithful to the contract. You break the contract and the contract's no good anymore. See you later. So this whole thing about contractual, agreements are very much part of everyday life. But this whole thing about unconditional love can be pretty hard to grasp. How can love be unconditional? How can anything be unconditional? And there's another rhetorical question. But then there's this. There's the other side of the coin, so to speak. Do you have people in your life who are saying to you, maybe not in so many words, but they may be saying this to you, it's good that you exist because you are useful to me. That's sort of like, hey man, if you ain't useful to me, then take a hike. I don't want to see you. These messages are like sort of hidden innuendos. You exist. Yeah, I'm happy that you exist. So how can you be useful to me? What can you do for me? And then we get into the contract. I'll do this for you if you do this for me. And that's the way of the world. But when you talk about how Jesus changed that all around with this unconditional love of God, that kind of sort of messed things up in the sense that it's not easy to be a Christian in this world of contracts. And so, now you may have both these types, or one type more than another in your life. Now here's an interesting thing that I read in the Bible. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's saying anything. It's this. One of the most interesting dialogues in the Bible. There are many interesting dialogues, but this one's like kind of interesting. I kind of said to myself, why is it even in the Bible? Okay, so I thought about that. Of course, I try to pray on these things. And so it's this. After the fall, God's looking for Adam. Can't find him. Adam's hiding. God's looking for Adam, right? So Adam comes out. Where were you? I was hiding because I was afraid. And then God said this. This is really profound if you kind of think about it. Who told you you were naked? You know, who told you you were naked? What does that say? What's the message behind that? It's a pretty powerful message. It says this: I made you the perfect human being. So what's wrong, Adam? What's wrong with you now? You don't like the way I made you in your perfection? You're the perfect human being. And there we have that whole sense of who we are. Who do people say you are? Who do people say I am? And so in many ways, it's all about affirmation. It's a very common word, to affirm someone. It's all about affirmation. Look at it this way. In your life, who told you that you are a strong, capable person? Did anybody ever tell you that? I hope so. I hope so. Who told you that you are a strong, capable person? And so, when we look at it this way, scripturally, who on your vine feeds you with the capacity for self-value and self-affirmation? My God, that's what everybody needs in this world. An affirmation, being connected. Who feeds you? The capacity for self-value. Who told you you were good? Maybe somebody told you you weren't good. It's kind of complicated. It's what we call psychological. Everything's like psychological, okay? Self-affirmation. How many self-help books are there in the library? Self-help. Hey, help yourself if nobody else is going to help you. I don't know if that's a book there or not. Anyway, but I mean, there's this whole sense of the need for affirmation. It's very human. And so, who helps you? There's another thing. Who helps you turn down the volume of negativity? Naysaying nabobs of negativity. Some politician said that once. I'm going to guess here. I think it was Spiro Agnew. Do you remember him? Probably not. Anyway, naysaying nabobs of negativity. That's a pretty neat statement. Turning down the volume of negativity in your life, while simultaneously turning up the volume of positivity. Who turns up the volume of positivity in your life? Who makes you feel good about yourself? Who makes you feel good, period, about life? This is tough stuff, man. It's tough stuff. Okay. And then here we go. I am the vine, you are the branches. Connectedness. Being connected. We are social beings. Now, there's some creatures that ain't social. I can think of a few. Even ants are social. Every living thing has a sociability, a connectedness about it. Solitary creatures. I can't think of any offhand, but anyway, I know they're out there. They don't need nobody, man. They're on their own. Some people kind of admire that. Don't need nobody else. And so, what are the connections in your life? What are the connections in your life? It's a rhetorical question, of course. Now, here it says, a message that we all must have had been given to us because we're here today. It says this: I belong in this world. There are people that care about me and my worth. My God, we must have experienced that somewhere along the line. Oh man, it's just pretty interesting. So all of this is the largest part of the message that Jesus gives us. That's the message. That's the good news. Whether you believe Jesus was just a nice guy, the Son of God, or whatever, the message rings pretty true. Of course, we believe he's the Son of God. Everyone wouldn't be here, But you think about that. What was his message? His message was, you're worth it. God made you. He loves you. He cares about you. He wants you to be with him forever in heaven. That's got to be pretty good news. But you got to believe it. Of course. Now, the creator of the entire universe. Think about it. Remember when we thought that we were the center, the earth was the center, and everything was revolving around us? Remember when people believed that the blue sky was a gigantic ocean? It was like a big bubble, and we were protected from the flood. Nobody needs to pop it, or we're all gone. All these we were so seemingly in control. We were the center of everything. Galileo, with Copernicus, all these guys that found out, it's not exactly the way we're thinking about this. But then we need to examine it from this perspective, knowing all that, right? It's this. The creator of the entire universe and all of its expanse and all the galaxies, the creator of the entire universe cares about you. Cares about you. Now, that's not a message you're going to get very frequently in the world. The world wants to use you. You got to do something for me, man. If I'm going to do something for you, hey, man, this is the way the world is, right? But this is a revolutionary idea that Jesus is introducing. The creator of the entire universe cares about you because you're important to him and others. Amen.